Hey, it's Aubrey, and today I'm going to show you guys an inside peek at my latest painting session. If you don't know, I paint landscapes and abstracts. I've been painting for a handful of years, but recently in the last 2, I did launch my online store. Painting has been one of the greatest things I think I have done for myself in the last 10 years. It was quite a funny story, my whole life, I've always known that I wanted to be a great mother and a great wife. And I'm fortunate and blessed enough that I have a beautiful family. But it was about maybe 2 years ago when I was really feeling motherhood. I mean, the screaming, the crying, the laughs, the hugs, the all-day tiredness, the meals, grocery shopping, cleaning, like every motherhood, I was just really feeling it. And about 2 years ago, all of my kids, I had 3 kids under 3 at the time, and I remember feeling so overwhelmed. I noticed my body was starting to react to stress differently than how I was ever used to. My scalp was on fire. I would almost get hives. I would get blisters on my fingers. It was just really weird. I'd have high anxiety. And I was also tired a lot. And I remember having this really heavy impression to go to the paint store and grab some paint supplies. And at the time before I even bought the stuff, I remember thinking, I used to love to paint. Like when I was a kid, I used to love to paint. And I wasn't the best at it by any means, but it was just something that I purely enjoyed and I found so much happiness in. And so one day I went to the paint store. I grabbed some brushes and some paints, canvases. I grabbed, all the little things that I needed. And I remember coming home, my husband asked me, what is all that? And I said, it's just, I picked up some paint supplies. And I remember him looking at me like, you paint? And I was like, well, I don't know. We're going to find out. It's been a minute. And so that night, I remember getting all my kids to bed early. I was like, hey kids, 8:00, let's go, night, singing to them, did our nightly routine. They're all in bed. I remember my husband was hanging out. I think he was working on something. So I was like, I'm going to go paint for a little bit. I'll have my headphones on. Let me know if you need me. And what I had found was that night, 4.5 hours have flown by without even realizing that it's been that long. And I remember looking up at the clock. It was about 12:30 in the morning. And I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I just sat here for 4.5 hours painting a landscape. And I remember feeling so centered. And I don't know how else to describe it, but I just remember feeling this is what I've been missing. And it's that feeling of, when you're going and doing for everybody else, but you're just not quite doing anything for yourself. And over the last 2 years, painting has brought me a lot of peace and has allowed me to process feelings or sadness or anxiety or whatever I'm experiencing. It's allowed me to paint it out on a canvas. It's been incredibly therapeutic because just when you think you painted something great, it actually just looks like crap. But you enjoyed every moment of it. I think often, how many people are there out in the world that actually have been wanting to do something for themselves, just have never quite made the jump, or maybe they're, negative thinking kicks in and says, no, I won't be good at it, or no, I shouldn't do it, or, I just think that life is so short to not give things a try. And in these last few months, I've learned a lot about what life is really about and what's important. On September 28th of 2022, I lost my dad to stage 4 colon cancer. And just as I thought how I knew that day would come, we found out over 3 years ago that my dad was diagnosed. Obviously that day was inevitable, but the pain and the grief definitely sticks with you, even after your loved one's passing. And I'm not really one to share much personal things about me, especially here on the internet. And there was a period where I didn't do any of my posting on YouTube that I normally do, and I had shared a life update because I thought, I might as well tell a little bit about what happened, but I don't want to go too much in detail because it's too personal, and all the thoughts of being too open with people, I think I just get a little uncomfortable, especially when it's about people that I care about. And so I remember sharing and uploading that video, which I can't even go back and watch that video because it's just too fresh. But I went through those comments on that video, the beautiful, beautiful comments that people had left about, them experiencing a very similar thing with one of their loved ones or a family member. And it just got me thinking about how much deeper I want to connect with people than what I have been doing. And so I thought this painting series on YouTube, I thought I might try it out. And instead of doing, talking on camera and just showing my face, I thought it might be a way to connect with you guys and almost my own therapeutic therapy, I guess I'm putting out online, but while I paint. And I thought I would give this a try. And I feel like, love and loss is something that I think any human being can connect on. And I thought I would try out this new series about really just talking about life and motherhood and loss and love and marriage. And I thought I thought it might be fun to watch me paint landscapes and talk, and I would love for us to carry over these conversations in the comments, but I just feel like there's so many people that are even just following my little channel here on YouTube that have lost somebody, and they know exactly how that feeling is. And I feel like there's a whole community of people who need to talk out their feelings or need to express themselves, because you only really get this one life to live. And are we doing the things that we purely enjoy? Are we really loving those that we love enough? Are we loving them hard enough? Are we giving them our all? Are we being the best parents we can be because we only get one chance to be a parent? Are we loving our spouse as hard as we could be? Are we giving ourselves enough time to express ourselves and be who we really want to be? I think these are just all of the things that have really kind of crossed my mind in the last few months with losing my dad and looking at life with a whole new perspective. And, of course, those moments always come to my mind of, what I could have done, what I should have said. I should have done, X, Y, and Z, or, I shouldn't have done that, said those things to my dad, whatever it might be. I just find myself, life is so short. And, are we living life to our fullest? And what if we don't get a full life that we thought we would have gotten? What would you do? What would you change? Just something to think about.